how to safely run a 110 volts appliance on a 220 volts power supply. Let's break this down step by step. First case, same frequency for appliance and power supply, 50 Hz or 60 Hz. The first scenario is when both the appliance and the power supply have the same frequency, whether it's 50 Hz or 60 Hz. In this case, you don't need to worry about frequency issues. What you do need is a way to deal with the voltage difference. Since the power supply gives 220 volts and your appliance is designed for 110 volts, plugging it directly could damage it severely. To safely use the appliance, you can use a step-down transformer. A step-down transformer reduces the voltage from 220 volts to 110 volts. It's simple to use. You just plug the transformer into your 220 volt outlet and then plug your 110 volts appliance into the transformer. Make sure the transformer has the right wattage capacity for your appliance. If the appliance needs 500 watts, get a transformer that can handle at least 20% more, like a 600 watt transformer, to avoid overloading. Second case, different frequencies, 50 Hz versus 60 Hz. Now, let's move to a trickier case, when the power supply has a different frequency from your appliance. For example, your power supply is 50 Hz, but your 110 volt appliance was designed for 60 Hz, or vice versa. This mismatch can create problems, especially with appliances that have motors, timers, or clocks. When the frequency is different, the motors might not run properly. For instance, a motor designed for 60 Hz running on 50 Hz might run slower, heat up more, and wear out faster. This is because motors depend on frequency to operate at the correct speed. Now, if your appliance is something like a heater or an incandescent light bulb, they don't really care much about frequency. They just need the right voltage. So in this case, you can still use a step-down transformer, and your appliance should work fine as long as you manage the voltage issue. Now, let's address frequency conversion. Unfortunately, converting between 50 Hz and 60 Hz is not as simple as using a transformer for voltage. To change the frequency, you'll need a frequency converter, which is a more complex and expensive device than a step-down transformer. Frequency converters essentially take in electricity at one frequency, change it internally, and then output it at the desired frequency. They're often used in industrial settings for machines that must operate at a specific frequency. But for most household appliances, unless it's a precision motor device or something frequency sensitive, a frequency converter may not be necessary if the voltage is properly adjusted. In summary, using a step-down transformer is essential for voltage differences, and you might need a frequency converter if the appliance is sensitive to the difference between 50 Hz and 60 Hz. Remember, always check the appliance's specifications and never take chances with electricity. It's always better to be safe than sorry.